One by one, they filed into the crisis talks. East African heads of state from Tanzania, Kenya and Uganda, and representatives from Burundi and Rwanda. South Africa attended as an invited guest, helping to broker peace in this nation for the second time. The leaders have called for the immediate disarmament of youth groups of political parties that have been linked to the deadly violence that's caused 100,000 people to flee the country. It's also urged that Friday's parliamentary elections and the June 26 presidential polls be postponed.
Excellencies, the summit appeals to institutions of Burundi, including its parliament, to facilitate this postponement. During this postponement, members of the summit, led by its chairperson, will consult with all stakeholders in Burundi on the way forward.
Ministers are going to go to Burundi to engage. Given the time frame, the engagement is going to be quite intense, so that we do not necessarily move away from the time frames that are given by the Constitution.
Summit leaders did not ask President Pierre Nkurunziza to step down. They did acknowledge, however, the need for further discussions on the interpretation of the Constitution on the presidential terms of office.
It was clear that the manner in which their Constitution is written has left some grey area which needs to be looked at. It could only be addressed by people who are not very excited, so to speak, who would apply their mind very fairly, and then come up with the solution. I think that's the issue, because that's the issue that started everything. That issue remains the issue.
They'll have a tough time convincing Burundi to do so.
Irrespective of what we are going through, Burundi remains a sovereign nation in the Committee of Nations. And that has to be understood and respected. And if you fail to recognize the decision, a ruling made by a court, whichever court in Burundi, then you are questioning the ruling of all the courts in Burundi.
Polls apart on the Constitution, but Burundi says it's open to consider the poll extensions.
I only carry the message, but it's up to the political parties and to all the stakeholders involved in the election to agree on that proposal and then move forward. What I'm saying is that the government will not be a bloc if all the sides agree.
While Burundi remains in a fragile state, South Africa and the East African community are confident that having brokered peace in an almost impossible situation 10 years ago, that now too they can bring back the country from the brink. Shinga Nyoka, SABC News, Dar-es-Salaam, Tanzania.